Okay, that's all I'm
I
gonna
know
do.
you say you have a packet, that's why I was wondering. Is it all one missing, Jackie?
Yeah.
Thank-
19 will now come to order. The media I see is not here yet. Could I get approval of the agenda?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, let it be known by the raising of your right hand. It's unanimous. You stand now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend Smith, would you lead us into our invocation, please?
Let us pray. Gracious God, our Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for another opportunity to call upon your name. And oh God, we are so grateful for this lovely day that you provided to us, not because of our goodness, but because of your grace and your mercy. And now, God, as we enter into this school board business, we pray, oh God, that your presence will be with us, leading and guiding our thoughts, that we will do things that are for betterment of our children and to move this district forward. Bless all of us and keep us in your care. And we, Heavenly Father, declare and decree it all to be so. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Can I get someone to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing employee contracts, recommendations, and resignations? I heard
And I second.
it's been moved in second. It was all in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. Opposed is the same. It's unanimous. We're now into executive session. All right, that's fine. Let me know by raising your right hand. All opposed? It's unanimous. We just left our executive section. No actions were taken, no decisions were made. We'll go forward now. We'll start with the public session. We do have some recommendations for hires and for resignations.
And just as was mentioned in the back, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. So good to see such a great crowd in attendance tonight. We do have several that have been recommended for resignation from both classified and certified. Most of those are retirees returning to the retiree system, and then we have 5 with recommendation for hire. I know there's one in particular that is on the interest and minds of many of you tonight, and so with that being said, I'll ask the board to allow me to ask Mr. Bobby Collins, who was recommended by Principal Farr for the position of head football coach and athletic director. If we could have him, is he, Mr. Farr?
He just went to get it.
I think
Oh,
we'll be
okay.
getting-
As he goes to go get him, I'll just
You can.
ask that those be approved based on my recommendation.
Okay, based on a superintendent's recommendation for the hires and the resignations,
We're gonna group them all together.
we can group them all together. Do you mind if we group them all together? All in favor of?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the 5 elections and the 14 resignations that Dr. McCall has so offered to us.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and second that we accept the 5 hires and the 14 resignations. Any question? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed is the same. It's unanimous. It has been adopted. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Bobby Collins to come to the front and allow you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the citizens of Marlboro County. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
I'm not going to use this mic. I'll speak. My name is Bobby Collins. I'm excited to be the athletic director, head football coach here. I know the expectation is high. I know the standard is high. I'm excited about the challenge. I'm excited about working with the young men and young women in this football program and all the sports here. And I'm excited to be here, and I look forward to meeting everybody here really soon. Thank you.
I know you have some members here that travel with you.
Definitely. I will introduce my wife first back there, Ms. Crystal Collins, that's my mom. Reverend Jeanette Collins standing back there also, along with her husband Richard. And again, I'm here, ready to get to work, and I'll be seeing everybody really, really soon. Thank you.
Excuse me, I have it under great knowledge that's been shared with me. Any problems, talk to his mom.
Thank you, Coach Collins. Now we begin with public sessions. We have approval of the minutes. We can do it individually or as group if there's any question about any of them.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes for March 4th, March 11th, and March 25th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that all minutes be approved for March 4th, March 11th, and March 25th of 2019. All in favor, any questions? Not all in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposers are the same. It's been adopted. Points of celebration.
Our Character Education Student of the Month is Miss Ayanna Davis, and Miss Anderson and Miss Taylor will come to the front at this time.
Chairman McNeil, members of the board, Dr. McCord, thank you for having us tonight. It's with great pleasure that I invite Ayanna Davis up here too with me. Here, come on this side, and I'm going to talk about it. Okay? Perfect, stand right there. This is Ayanna Davis, and she is our Character Education Student winner for grades 7 and 8 from Marlboro School of Discovery as well as for the district. And the character words were honesty and integrity. Ayanna possesses many fine character traits, but her honesty and integrity outshine most individuals. She has a strong moral principles which make her a role model for other students. She is very honest, but she is also very tactful with her honesty. The students and teachers trust her opinion because of her high regard for herself and others. The students respect and trust her honesty, and that says a lot for her character. If I need an honest opinion, Ayanna is my go-to person. She does not uphold others in their wrongdoing, so that alone makes her an asset to our school. She exemplifies citizenship in all of her classes and throughout the school. These character traits are what makes Ayanna such a great citizen in her classes and throughout our school.
I'm going to ask our current Teacher of the Year, Miss 2018-2019, Miss Claire Portia, if you'll come up at this time and introduce our 2019-2020 Teachers of the Year and Classified Staff of the Year for each school, will be greatly honored. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good evening to the chairman of the board, Dr. McCord, board members, and Marlboro County citizens. A pleasant good night to everyone. It has been my pleasure for this year to serve as the District Teacher of the Year for the Marlboro County Public School System. I have enjoyed it thoroughly. Still have a little bit more time left, but I have been humbled and privileged to serve. It has been my delight, And for the next person who has this responsibility, oh, the places you'll go. And now, it is my delight to share with you those teachers who have been nominated as Teacher of the Year for their respective schools for the 2019-2020 school year. In addition, I will announce the Classified Employee of the Year for those same schools for next year. I would ask that you would allow me to introduce all of the teachers first, and then they will come up, and then we can applaud them as a group. Thank you. All right. The teacher for Bennettsville Primary School is Victoria Kirby, also known as Carolyn Kirby.
Wait.
For Bennettsville Intermediate School, Miranda Taylor. For Blenheim Elementary Middle School, Eugene Shanae. For Clio Elementary School, Brianna Wilbur. For Marlboro County High School, Kathy Shilene. For Mccall Elementary Middle School, Whitney Barfield Camacho. For the School of Discovery, Joshua Hilton. And last but not least, for Wallace Elementary School, Sherry Porter.
Well,
Will you please join me in giving them a round of applause?
Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. We're going to take this way. We're going to take it. All right, make sure you can see me and I can see you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Although we are giving each of those that have come in front tonight a pen, we do have other awards and celebrations that will take place towards the beginning of the new year. So just know that there's more celebrating to come.
And now for the Classified Employee of the Year for 2019-2020. We will begin with Bennettsville Primary School, Ashley Haithcock. For Bennettsville Intermediate School, Stephanie McCoy. For Blenheim Elementary Middle School, Linda Horn. Is Ms. Horn here? Ms. Horn is not with us this evening? Okay. For Clio Elementary School, Debbie Deese. For Marlboro County High School, Marion Smith. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you. For Mccall Elementary Middle School, Wendy Henderson. Somebody's excited. For the School of Discovery, Anita Nolan. And for Wallace Elementary Middle School, Gabriel David. Please join me in giving them a round of applause.
All right, door, y'all know this. Y'all know this. Don't see somebody. Somebody can slide right in here. All right, then. Everybody look at me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Dr. McCord, good evening. The Bennettsville Bicentennial Committee asks that the district take part in the 200-year celebration by highlighting our visual and performing arts program. The head of the Education Committee, Sandra Wadeko, developed a plan that combined the district art show, which we do yearly, and an arts day, which included art, band, chorus, and the dance programs. The art show was held on Friday, March 23rd at the Bennettsville Community Center. Each of the schools in the district invited students to display their best art pieces completed over the course of the school year. To include the bicentennial celebration, students were asked to complete a drawing of the architecture around town. The best drawings from each school were selected by the art teachers and submitted in the competition and judged by members of the community. There was one winner per grade band. These winners will receive a monetary gift from the Bicentennial Committee and a medallion. Their artwork is displayed up on the projector in front of you. And the surprise that we have for the students is I told them that they would not receive their gift tonight. However, the Bicentennial Committee called me this afternoon and asked me to come pick their checks up. So they will receive their gift tonight. So would Janadria Williams from Bennettsville Primary School please come forward? Rasiah Sewell from Clio Elementary Middle School. Malika Dupree from Marlboro School of Discovery. And Jace McCuna, I think I'm pronouncing that right, from Marlboro County High School.
Yes, parents, if you would like to come up and join us for photos this time, if you're present. Again, parents and family members, if you can come up. Congratulations.
stick her up in front. All right, now tighten up a little bit. And give her a little lean, 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, I want to say congratulations to all the teachers, classified and non-classified, as well as those young folk that just came up and shared with us how good they are at art. I have a problem writing my name straight sometimes, so I was impressed. Trust me, I am. We will now have public comment. Please keep in mind we're 3 minutes with your comment. We'll start with Mr. Timothy McNeil.
Thank you, Board Chair, Superintendent, Board members, community. I'm gonna move pretty quick so I can cover everything. First, I want to remind you that August is April is Autism Awareness Month. Tomorrow is National Autism Awareness Day. As being a parent of a child with autism, it's very important to me that we do push awareness and acceptance. Secondly, I just want to share a couple concerns. I saw we're gonna make a push for more contract services. I would just ask you to take a major look at Kelly Services. As a parent of a child with autism, the system they're using is felonious. My child has had to miss unnecessary days because no one from Kelly would pick up the absence of her main PCA. So let's take a close look at Kelly. Secondly, I see where Right Services is going to be coming in. We had those human services agencies here before. It turned into a mess. It was violating the students' confidentiality on campus, breaking dress codes, sleeping in classes, on the phones. That turned into a major problem. So let's be careful with some of the contract services. And also, and I know the board can't address rumors, but this is Marlboro County. Colors, Vegas gold and black. Mascot, Bulldogs. Can we leave it like that? All right? Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil. Ms. Deborah Peterkin.
Good afternoon, Chairman and board members.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody here. I know that you guys have a difficult job. I've done it myself. And a lot of times, you don't know what the best answer is. And you grasp for answers. And I'm coming as a citizen from Blenheim, as an aunt of a child that's going to be affected by this move. But I'm not only here to represent my niece, but I'm here to represent every little child from Blenheim that's going to be affected from this move. I know money is tight, and I know we got to do what's best for all of the children of Marlboro County. But the same set of students keep getting moved around. But I want you to think about, I live 3 minutes from the school. And when my niece rides the bus, she has to be on that bus by 6:12 just to get to Blenheim. And in the afternoon, she gets home after 4 when she was allowed to ride the bus. Same situation happened with my son. So my family, and we're one of the lucky families, we kind of had the luxury of what we could go pick him up. A lot of the families in Blenheim don't have that luxury. And we're talking about moving our kids further. My niece also has medical problems where she needs breathing treatment periodically. So my family is close enough that when the school calls, they can go and they can give her a breathing treatment. I implore you guys, I know you're looking for an answer for all of our kids, but please go back to the drawing board. Please think about what you're doing to our smallest kids. I said, we're talking about money and trying to save those resources, but we have to also think about the quality of care for our smallest children. what are we really doing to them? You know, if you really want to take a look, has anybody analyzed how the other students that are getting bused around, how they feel, how we have this aging bus fleet? Unless maybe I missed something, there might have been some new bus, a whole bunch of new buses came in that I missed. But we have to think about all of our children. And I just ask you once again, please go back to the drawing board. Find a better solution than moving our babies from Blenheim.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, can I comment on the color thing?
Let me get, Douglas Jennings.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, it is indeed an awesome responsibility and an awesome task when any school board, any administration, superintendent, and principal go to replace a man who's been a head football coach and athletic director for 22 years, such has been the situation here. But I rise just briefly to commend and thank this administration for the way they went about it. And I tell you that I appear before you as a member of a committee that was put together by your principal, Mr. Farr, and your superintendent, Dr. McCord, to get community input and to interview the candidates for head football coach and athletic director. And I'm speaking, I'm sure, on behalf of every member of that committee. It was impressive to me that these administrators, these professionals who treated this matter in every way very respectfully, very inclusively, and reached out to the community to get folks to serve on this interview committee so that the resulting decision that you have before you tonight is one that reflects not just a single-minded interest of one person. And I just commend them for that. And I'd like to just quickly tell you that serving on the committee with me and giving their time as volunteers to interview these candidates and to lead and help and assist, advise the administration as they came forward with this exciting announcement tonight was Sheriff Charles Lemon and Mr. Tyrone Abraham, Ms. Pam Ashwood, Ms. Candace Cannon, Coach Ryan Pierce, and Tim McNeil, who is a student here at the high school. That group and myself put a lot of time in and interviewed applicants, and I've never before served on a committee where people from that diverse group of backgrounds and age groups, for example, all came together and completely and unanimously felt the same way, and that was pretty impressive. And the head football coach and athletic director, Coach Bobby Collins, who was introduced tonight, is an outstanding man, and I just tip my hat to Principal Farr and to Dr. McCord, your superintendent, for the way they went about this process. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank everyone who came up tonight to share your concerns and your thoughts about the community and especially about the school district. We thank you very much for that. It may not be on. I'm bad about this. Can you hear me now? Here we go. It's on. We'll now have board items for discussion.
Thank you. Good evening. Once again, we'd like to take a moment to, as we said at our previous board meeting, to make sure that we keep the community and the board aware of what we are doing as it relates to our building projects. Again, many thank yous to the public for approving the $10 million bond back in November. And so we'll take a few moments at each board meeting to show and reflect some of the things that will be taking place, starting with the camera installation at Mccall Elementary and Middle School. Many of you may know, those of you that do not know, our camera systems were obsolete, if existing at all, in all of our schools. But now we have remote access that allows us as administrators in the building as well as out of the building to see what's going on at all times in our schools. Hopefully we won't see something we don't need to see right now, like somebody sleeping, but these images are in fact at Mccall. And I believe we have, is it 48 cameras? 27? No, I think it's 48. Yeah. So we have cameras that allow us to see every portion of the building at all times. And so thank you for that. We also, over the last month, we have completed with the installation of new doors at Mccall. We started the year off with maybe 8 doors that were not safe. You could pull on them and the latch would unlatch and you could easily walk into the building. Having a safe and secure campus at all times is going to be on the front of my mind, as I'm sure it is the board at all times. We're in the process of replacing each of those doors, and we still have about 4 to do, but it will be ending this week. We have the irrigation system installed finally at Blenheim, and I know for those of you that have been wondering what that is coming out of the fields, that's water. That is something that should have been done initially when the project began. However, it wasn't, but we're excited to see that we now have irrigation system for both the baseball, softball, and the football field. Our next project will include doing the same at Wallace. Also, down at Blenheim, we're going to be reseeding. So the company that did the dragging, they'll reseed, and this time when they reseed, we'll have water, controlled water, to help the grass grow. We look forward to hopefully having student athletes ready to compete in the fall of 2020. Regarding another project that includes both Blenheim and Wallace, we recently, last month, I believe we were informed by a board chair that there was an opportunity with us to meet with the higher-ups at Marlboro Co-op. They have graciously agreed to enter into a contractual agreement with the school district that will allow us to get lighting for the baseball, softball, and football fields at both Wallace and Blenheim at a cost that's half of what it would be for both projects for just one. If I said that right, it's an amazing deal. And so I'd like to say a special thank you to Marlboro Co-op for the work and the partnership that they have engaged with this school district. And thank you, Chairman McNeil, for bringing that to our attention. And Mr. Coachman, those lights, they won't be up tomorrow, but they're on the way.
Well.
And by the way, we were looking at the cheaper models, but because of this partnership, we're going to be able to get the Cadillac version.
Getting the Cadillac.
We're getting the Cadillac.
All right, all right, all right.
We're happy and excited about, again, building partnerships here in Marlboro County. I want to show that playground equipment. We made mention in the bond referendum that there would be new playground, safe playground equipment, safety first, that's going to be installed at BIS, BPS, and Mccall. Each of these schools currently have no or dilapidated playground equipment. I believe students deserve a right to have fun. When it's time for recess at those early ages, we definitely want to provide them with the best possible, but also safety has been a concern since I got here. So we're going to go with the AstroTurf model, which is a lot more durable, a lot more bone friendly and overall a lot safer for students. Many of you probably have seen our playground equipment at schools where they exist at Wallace and at Clio, where we use the wood chips. If you don't put enough wood chips in at the right time, it could not always work out great if you come off the monkey bars. I'm not suggesting that kids intentionally try to come off on this AstroTurf either, but at least we'll know that we have a safer environment for our students. We're going to have material that helps prevent from burns, cuts, and/or bruises, and then we also want to, as best possible, be able to provide sunscreen or sunshade while students are outside at play. And so these are some projects that are taking place. Regarding BIS, we originally thought that we would be able to begin with the demolition project at BIS for those areas that need to be taken down, but because there is a vacancy in the office of OSF, our applications will not be reviewed until this summer, and so that, of course, is going to push us back. But we are going to continue with the renovation of bathrooms in our schools. This will be an ongoing project beginning this summer, as well as with the auditorium, and we'll see what the process will be again in terms of getting our permits allowed through OSF, but we will continue with the RFP process during the month of April, so that when we begin May, or at the May board meeting, I can bring to you a few companies, architectural companies, that are hoping to bid for this. And that is what I have for you under this particular item, and I'm ready and willing to discuss anything that you have regarding. I'm sorry? Card swipe. Oh, I'm sorry. I left out the card swipe. At each of our buildings, we're, again, trying to improve our safety. We want staff, and only staff, to be able to enter buildings using a card swipe. That's going to give us another level of security, because we'll know when someone enters, date, time, stamp, automatically when you slide your card, and it can be activated and deactivated at a moment's notice in the event that we need to turn someone's card off. And so they have begun that project and will continue until completion.
That will be all schools?
That'll be all sites, to include the district office and the annex building.
Okay. All right.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said that the fields in Blenheim, you're estimating fall of 2020 or school year 2020?
School year.
Thank you.
Yeah, school year.
Thank
So that'll be, I'm saying fall 2019, I'm sorry, but that's 1920. So sometime maybe late September, early October.
Okay.
Same for Wallace, as far as the lighting.
Sir?
Same time frame for Wallace as far as the lighting?
We're hoping the lighting gets up sooner. We just, with your approval, of course, I'm going to contact them tomorrow, let them know that we are indeed interested in continuing with this partnership, and they'll begin and give us a timeline, and I'll bring that back to you hopefully by next week when we meet.
Your motion?
And the cost, if you don't mind me saying, is $700 a month per school for full service. That's turnkey service for 60-foot LED light posts, which again, if we had to price that out, it would cost us in the neighborhood of $250,000 to $300,000. So we'll pay that $700 a month turnkey for 10 years. So 700 times 12 is what, 84?
Yeah.
And then 84 times 10 is 84,000. So again, over the course of 10 years, we'll pay $84,000, which isn't even a fraction of the cost of what it would cost us to price these out ourselves.
Okay.
And it's going to be top of the line.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we give the superintendent authority to go ahead and deal with Marlboro Electric and for the lighting for the Blenheim and Wallace School football field lighting and baseball and softball and whatever they want to play on the field when they get it done.
I second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved in second.
Yeah, I got a question. Does the $700 a month, does that include maintenance or?
Turnkey.
Turnkey, okay.
All we have to do is call them anytime there's an issue. They'll have someone out there, whether it's a light, whether it's not hitting the right areas. It's turnkey service.
Okay.
It has been moved in second that we allow the superintendent to go forward with the lighting at Wallace and Blenheim fields for all all activities, sports activities. Any questions? You ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed are the same. It's unanimous. It has been adopted. Thank you, Mr. Coachman. And thank you, Superintendent.
No, thank you.
We'll move forward with the Superintendent's Report.
At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Sterling Harris to come forward to talk about an exciting summer school program for students in grades 4 through 8. This is in our effort to continuously keep our focus on raising the academic bar for students. Before he begins, I'll ask Ms. Quick to come up and talk about our after-school programs. Last month, she discussed the 21st Century grant period that began in February and will conclude later this month, but we received since that time some news as it relates to our status with the 21st Century grant. Ms. Quick.
Good evening, Board Chairman McNeil, members of the board, and Dr. McCord. This evening, I bring you great news. The South Carolina State Department of Education has offered Marlboro County School District a 5th-year extension for funding. The reason for this funding is because the Marlboro County School District has operated the 21st Century Community Learning Center after-school program and summer program with fidelity and is in good standing with the South Carolina State Department of Education.
Wow.
During this extended funding, our funds would not exceed what we receive in our 4th year, which is $120,000, $526. During this year, we will operate under the same scope as we did in our year 4. So now you may ask, what does this mean for the community? Because we came before you last board meeting saying that we would help the community write these grants. So what would this mean for the community? The community and agencies and organizations will now have an opportunity to work with us firsthand, hand in hand, to see how the program operates on a daily basis. Some of the issues that some of the community organizations had was coming up with funding, because 21st Century grant is a reimbursable grant. So this will allow them to trace other funds, such as go through fundraisers as well as get donations, so that they will be able to operate when our 5th year is over. They will also be able to participate in an extensive grant writing process. I will still hold the grant writing classes for any individual in the community that is interested. Also, they will be able to gain perspective and insights of the project director, which is myself, the site coordinators, the teachers, and the students. And lastly, they will be able to expand their professional network as they go to meetings and attend meetings at the State Department with me, if they would like to. And this concludes the great news that I have for the 21st Century grant.
Congratulations. Good job, Ms. Quick. Thank you very much.
I also would like to say a great job to Ms. Quick and her staff and her team, because not only are they doing great work for the school district, but they're doing great work with the partnerships that we're looking and hoping to have, so that next year this time, when we phase out of the 21st Century grants, we'll have some partners that'll be ready to take that up. So thank you.
Good evening, Chairman McNeil and the rest of the board members. I come to you to explain to you about our summer school program that we are starting up this year in Marlboro County. We are starting a summer school for 4th through 8th graders in Marlboro County to address students who have missed enormous amounts of instructional time due to chronic absenteeism, and also to address students who fail 2 or more of our 4 content areas. We find it very important that we have some accountability for our students' learning, and that we don't have students that are just being retained, which causes overage in our middle and high school years, but also students that are just not being placed or pushed through the system because of lack of extension. Our summer school 4th through 8th grade program will allow us to address students who have not performed well during the year and provide them that extended learning, so that as they continue to move through the system, they will have greater academic success. This program we will host this program in 2 sites. There will be a western and eastern site, one held at Wallace Elementary Middle School and one held at Blenheim Billings School of Discovery School, excuse me. And in those sites, we will address areas related to math and English standards. As you know, those are two of our heaviest assessed areas in terms of the state assessment, and they weigh very heavily on our local, state, and national report cards. And so we want to be sure that we strengthen these students that have had struggles so that they are prepared as they move forward. We will integrate science and social studies standards within those contents to allow and address those areas. But we are looking forward to having this program and making it mandatory for those students that have complied with those parameters that we put out for the summer school. It will run 16 days. The program will have a pre and post test designed through our Mastery Connect Skills Bank, designed for the standards that we're teaching so that we can see where students are when they start the program and what type of growth we've made over the 4 weeks that they would participate.
What happens after the 16th week and the student hasn't made suitable progress?
After the 16 days.
16 days. Yeah.
We have, as you mentioned, a pre and post test, as well as the recommendation from the teacher. If and when that time comes, the teacher does not believe the student has progressed at all, then we have to look at retention as an option. Of course, the goal here is to see what we can do to avoid or prevent retention, but realistically, and we all know this, 16 days can't make up for 180 days. What we're beginning to do, hopefully, is identify students in a way that we can offer remediation over the summer to not only address those issues related to academic non-success in the classroom, but to look and see what we can do to understand and find out what the systemic issue is with the child. Many times when a child is suffering from a lack of attendance in school, there are issues not related to school that we might be able to investigate over the summer in a smaller environment with a more watchful eye. And so, although it may result in some students having to be retained, we hope to open what I consider to be, I won't call them cases, but relationships with adults in buildings where we can monitor these students throughout the year to get them back on track at some point in time. All research and data shows that for each year that you retain a student from promoting to the next grade, it decreases their chances of graduating high school on time. And so we definitely don't want two things. We don't want students advancing to the next grade, having not met the challenges, academic challenges of the previous grade, because it brings on sometimes a frustrating level for the teacher who's trying to teach to the current grade. So we can't continue to ignore that, but we also have to find ways that we can keep students moving forward, identify what those issues are, and provide resources so that they can become successful graduates. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's an issue that, again, I think it's important enough for us to address. If we could do it year-round, I'd like to do that, but this is just a start.
I have a request more than anything, Mr. Harris.
Yes.
If you would consider looking at what can we do to get more parental involvement. One of the biggest struggles I think we have is most parents can't help their kids. They don't have what they need to help. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that we can do or something that we can look at to create a learning system for the parents?
Yes, sir.
As a grandparent, I struggle helping my grandchildren.
Well, yes, we will continue to explore those avenues, and we also encourage parents and you to share with parents to come out to our content nights at our various schools. Oftentimes at those content nights, they're not only sharing the information that the students are working on and what they're doing, they also have opportunities to provide parent workshops to share strategies to help guide parents in helping their students. Sometimes parents won't be the experts, but parents will have enough knowledge to be able to access certain situations so that they can be a help to their students.
Okay, that's very informative for me right now, and I think everyone needs to be more aware of that because I think that could be helpful in the long run for some of these kids.
Yes, sir, and all of our schools have those with their parent educators working along with the administrators.
Right, and Ms. Quick currently runs our parent educator program, and we're hoping to do more. But for all parents that are present, as well as those that are listening on TV, the internet is one of the best resources you can use. And I'm not talking about social media, but I'm talking about finding solutions to issues related to academics in schools now. Like you, I was unable to help my daughter after, once you get past sevens, and I'm glad, I was able to demonstrate that tonight successfully, but once you get past sevens, it gets kind of dark for me. But there are several websites, Khan Academy, YouTube, that allow parents to get involved, actively involved in their students' educational process. By looking and listening and understanding together, it makes not just for a smarter parent, but it also cements to that kid that the parent is indeed involved in their child's education. And so we're going to continue to search and research ways to get parents more involved. So thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll ask Ms. Keila Robinson to come up. She's going to bring your attention again to the certification of administrative contracts. And I'd like to make a correction for the paper, if I can. It made mention that we are going to have 3 new positions. We are going to have 3 new positions, but they're going to be a wash because of the existing positions that we have that we won't offer. So I wanted to be sure we clarified that as best possible with the media.
Good evening, Chairman McNeil, board members, Dr. McCord. In your packet, you should have received a slate of administrative recommendations for the 2019-2020 school year. We respectfully request your approval tonight of the information you received in your packet.
As mentioned at the last board meeting, I deliberately took the names off of the positions, but I'll gladly send that to you if you want to see the names. That's so that we won't have a employee's information out to the public, because this is public.
And these are all of the names that, positions that you...
Administrative positions.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this for information, or do we need to?
We need
This-
a vote.
Need to vote. Yeah.
This for, okay.
Just approve.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the administrator recommendations that have been given to us tonight.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second to accept the recommendations for the
2019-2020
2019-2020 school district
administrators contract.
Any
Recommendation.
question? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposes? It was unanimous. It has been adopted.
Can I take a moment? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Question, the assistant principal, administrative primary, 210 days, I see most assistants have 240. What's the difference?
220.
220. We have, right, we have, and I made mention at our staffing meeting last week, moving forward, we're going to have contracts that reflect what's best for the school as well as the budgets. We have, I can't go in and change what's been done in the past, but moving forward, I'd like to make as many corrections as I can related to contracts. And I think it's not just that site, but you'll see that on the, you see 210
primary
on Clio. No, that's an error. That's an error on assistant principal Clio.
Okay.
That should be 210 as well. Thank you for pointing that out. But yes, BIS and Clio will be 210.
Question here. Mr. Jeff.
Yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Roseman.
I see there aren't any names cited, and I understand what you're saying about the confidentiality part of it. But can we later on know who are in these positions and send us email confirmation?
I will send that information to you. I was actually getting ready to ask if I could announce 2 of those positions tonight, if no one has any objections to it. And that's for the School of Discovery, as you know. And that's why I wanted to make mention to the press again that we have a couple of positions that will essentially be a wash. We have a principal currently serving at Blenheim. We also have a principal currently serving at School of Discovery. The principal for 1920 for Blenheim School of Discovery will be Ashley Taylor. And Ashley, if you would please stand. And we have a Director of Student Services that will serve under Auxiliary Services Officer, and that will be Mr. James Mccall. I see James, if you would stand up, please. And James is going to be able to help us in our overall, and I think I gave you those positions as well as what their duties and responsibilities were at the staffing meeting. And one of the things that we're looking to do is strengthen in those areas where we have weaknesses, again, as it relates to attendance. We have a deficit across the district in making parents and students aware of the importance and the necessity of attendance. We need to address bullying a little better than we do across the district, discipline across the district, dropout rates. There's just so much that we haven't not been able to address because of a lack of personnel. And we're looking forward to having Mr. McCall join us on our team in the fall. We'll actually begin in this summer.
But there will not be an assistant principal.
The assistant principals, we still have 2 assistant principals at the school.
Okay. I don't see them listed here. They were listed on my internet, like one you sent me through email, but they're not listed on this sheet.
What you may have in your packet may not be what you received via email.
Yeah, it was listed on the email that you sent me to review before I got here.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. As long as we're gonna have some help from the state.
Yes.
Okay.
We're not taking anything away from the school. But I'll make sure you get a correct list. I'm not sure how this one got in, but I'll make sure you get the correct list.
Okay. And may I also bring to your attention, Chairman McNeil, we have been working on our new contracts. I would like to share the dates with you. By April 12th, we will issue contracts for all certified staff members and our administrative contracts. By May 1st, we will issue all of our classified letters of assurance. And by May 31st, or on May 31st, we will issue all letters of agreement for all retirees. You received an email concerning retirees with several dates in it, but we're going to treat all of our retirees the same and issue those agreements on May 31st.
Same as last year?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Going to have at this time West Park, Ms. Franny Heiser come up. I'll let Wes introduce Ms. Heiser.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. McCord. You have before you a resolution which is attached authorizing the issuance of $10 million in general obligation bonds for renovations, construction at Bennettsville Intermediate School, safety and security improvements and renovations at all schools. Resolution provides proceeds through the issuance of bond for the cost of renovations, construction, and those safety and security improvements. The Burr and Foreman firm has prepared the resolution to authorize the issuance and sale of $10 million in general obligation bonds for the project. Exhibit A sets the form of the bonds. Exhibit B provides a notice of sale. Exhibit C identifies reporting and other requirements for continuing disclosure. And at this time, Franny Heiser will speak more to the details of the general obligation bond as presented. And of course, you're going to have a recommendation here that you authorize the board chair board secretary and superintendent or designee to execute documents associated with the authorization and issuance of $10 million general obligation bond series 2019A on behalf of the school district and other certain matters such as provision for payment and deposit of proceeds for renovations, construction at Bennettsville Intermediate School, safety and security improvements at all schools, and certain other facilities in the school district and renovations at all other schools within the district. At this time, Ms. Franny Heiser.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. McCord. It's great to be with y'all. As Wes said, my name is Franny Heiser. I've been here before, like for a number of years and years and years. My law firm name was the McNair Firm. I don't think I've been here since January 1st. We merged with, the McNair Firm merged with another firm, so now our name is Burr Foreman McNair. In South Carolina, the official legal name is Burr Foreman. So when you read that there's some lawyer from Burr Foreman, well, it's really Franny Heiser, who has been with y'all for many years now. I know I was here as y'all prepared for the referendum. Congratulations on your successful referendum. Y'all have had numbers of successful trips to your voters, which I always say means that you are really providing them with what they need and want. And so I congratulate you on your successful referendum. The purpose of this resolution is to authorize the bonds to issue the bonds that were authorized by your voters last November. And so you heard Wes mention the projects to be funded through this debt are the projects that were named or listed in the bond referendum. The form of this resolution is such that it actually delegates to your superintendent the authority to make certain determinations and to approve certain details of the bonds. For example, the exact day that we sell the bonds, the exact maturity schedule, how long you will take to pay the debt off. Those details would be approved and we'd go forward with Dr. McCord's approval. I will tell you that the financing plan that has been developed by the Compass Municipal Advisors. Y'all may remember Mike Gallagher, who's been with y'all at previous meetings. Mike Gallagher is your financial advisor. We work closely with Mike. I say he does the numbers and I do the words when y'all are borrowing money. So your financing plan and what y'all represented to your public is that you will repay this $10 million and all your existing debt without a millage tax increase. Your current millage for debt service is 33 mills, and that is the mill target that will be used when this debt is sold and when the repayment is determined once and for all. And I'd be glad to answer any questions y'all might have about the resolution, about the bonds to be issued. I know there's some new board members here who may not have been through a bond authorization before or a bond sale. I'd be glad to go into more detail about any of that if you'd like, Mr. Chair.
Is there anyone present that want to have interest in hearing more about this referendum or this authorization for the bond? Hearing none.
Excellent. Well, thank y'all very much. If any questions do come up, you shall please let Dr. McCord know. We'll get right back to you. I think our plan, the plan is to move forward, and we will have this debt issued and the money in the bank for you within the next 4 to 6 weeks. And so the projects that you heard about this summer and any projects that are ongoing, you'll have the proceeds of these bonds to pay for those projects.
Can you, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can you, for the public, just go over the timeline again?
Certainly.
For the sale of the bonds, and that's just so that we can make sure we have it out there.
From this point forward, we're working on a disclosure document, what has to be sent to the bond rating agencies, and we'll have that document, as we say, sent up to the people in New York, certainly by the end of this week. We'll then schedule a ratings call, which we'll have with the rating agencies, and then sell the bonds. These bonds will be sold after a public notice is published in the state newspaper, and we actually will take bids on these these bonds through the internet. So it's a very competitive sale, and the banker that buys these bonds could be located in New York, could be located in California, be totally public sale. We then have about a 2-week process to get all the paperwork finalized, and then the bonds close, which is kind of like closing on a house loan. That means the money will be in the bank. So these bond proceeds will be available to the school district in approximately 6 weeks, and so that the proceeds, the money, the funds that come from these bonds will be available to pay for the construction projects that you heard about earlier in the meeting, and will continue to be available for the other construction projects that might not be completed this summer, but will continue to be worked on throughout the next probably 18 to 24 months.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all very much. Yes, if just to be clear, if y'all would actually take a vote on adopting this resolution, that's a key step that we need in the process so that we can move forward and get the deal done.
If I could have a motion.
What do we need?
Mac, I'm sorry.
Make a motion that we allow Ms. Heiser to proceed with the issuance of the bonds. Yes, that's the way to do it.
I'll clean it up. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we do the adoption of the resolution of the authorized issuance of sale of $10 million general obligation bond series 2019A for renovations of constructions at Bennettsville Intermediate School, safety and security improvements, and renovations at all schools. Are you ready for question? Hearing none, are you ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed is the same. It's been adopted unanimously. Thank you very much. It's done. Yes, Mr. Coach.
I thought you said done. I thought you were getting ready to close because I got something to add. We ain't done.
We're getting there.
We're getting close.
We're getting real close.
It's still daylight, Mr. Coachman, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Harris, with the textbook adoption. Ms. Blair.
I've got financial report.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is a fine. We do need to hear that.
Okay, very good. Yeah, before you, the financial report as of May 27, 2019. At that date, the district's cash and investment balances on hand for the 4 primary operating accounts were $8,428,943. As of that same date, the district had expended $21,004,914 of a $32,818,572 budget, or 64% of budget year to date. Any questions?
So, Mr. Parker, just for me.
Sure.
So we should be basically at 26%, and we're actually at 36%.
We're at 36% remaining. One of the things that we do have, of course, there are additional teacher checks for the month of June. So one of the things we'll see is our salary numbers are a lower percentage than the rest of the other expenditures. So we do have 4 checks in June, but technically that is the ideal percentage at this point in time, 26%. Okay, so we're ahead.
I'm just smiling because it's 36 as opposed to 26.
That's
just
correct.
Smiling.
Very good.
All right, thank you very much.
You.
You're doing a mighty fine job with the money, Mr. Park.
We're going to need it.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris, Ms. Blair, Ms. Smurfy, come on up. Hello.
Good evening, Board Chair, Board members, Dr. McCord. My name is Danny Blair, District Textbook Coordinator. And this is Ms. Mulkey, who is the chair of the math department, and she represents the high school as well as one middle school. This is the year for textbook adoptions for the high school. And basically, we had a consensus, and Ms. Mulkey is going to tell you about that.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board of Members, and Dr. McCall. I'm standing on behalf of all the math teachers from Marlboro High School as well as from School of Discovery, Ms. Patricia. I have attended the book carnival, and then we shortlisted 3 publishers. Then we invited those 3 publishers so that the entire department can hear. But only 2 turned out, and then as a department, we all came to a consensus that we will be adopting for recommendation big ideas. The reason we adopted is because it has both digital and print material, editable, downloadable. Even the students can access all the videos, the resources, even if they don't have the internet, it can be downloadable. And also, they can hear the questions in different languages as per their convenience. It's not just one language, English, they can hear more than 6 languages. And all the material is centered around the real-life situations, which will be helping the students to inculcate interest in learning math and see the real math within the surroundings. So the department, including from School of Discovery, we came to a consensus that we will like to adopt big ideas for Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2.
And on display, we have copies of those books if you'd like to look. And we offer this as information to the board. And if you've got questions, we'd answer. And we can tell you that all schools are in good shape. Zero balances, Clio, the high school, Wallace, all have credits. So they were in good shape.
And I just want to take a moment and say thank you for all that you do with our textbooks. I can tell you, and I'm not sure if many of you know, especially those in the public, to have zero balance textbooks for any school, anywhere USA is incredible. For a high school, it's unheard of. And so I'd just like to say thank you for the work that you do and making sure that we keep up with our textbooks here in Marlboro County.
Thank you very much.
You need to make a motion on that.
And on that note, I'd like to make a recommendation, I'd like a motion that we accept the recommendation for the textbooks for Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry that have been submitted.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the recommendation for the textbooks for Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry. Are you ready for question? Ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposes? It's been adopted unanimously. Is there a need to go into executive session for any reason?
No, but I don't know about that, but I got something I want to finish up with, because they didn't give the board members should have been on anything we got for the next board meeting.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Mr. Coachman?
Yeah, I got something. I want to look at our policies for harassment, intimidation, and bullying. I also want to look at our policy for hazing and weapons in school and drug and alcohol used by our students. And I want to look at all 4 of those policies. I think we need, as a board, need to especially about the one for bullying. We need to take a more harder approach to bullying in our schools here in Marlboro County. I saw something on TV that disturbed a young lady that got killed in a school somewhere. I forgot where it was, but her mother had already said that she was being bullied, been to the school, and then wound up being dead from it. I think we need to stiffen our bullying policy up and address it. And very, very hard way to let our parents feel safe, and that we won't tolerate bullying in our schools here in Marlboro County. But like, look at that policy. If we have to make some changes or amendments to that policy, I would love for us to do that.
Would you like to have some type of workshop that may be helpful to us, and even maybe bringing in law enforcement or someone else to help us with that?
Well, I really, law enforcement, I don't think you need. I think we as a board should make that.
That's fine.
Decision.
I'm using them only as for, well then, that's fine.
Well, if they'll be able to come in and work the workshop with us, I won't turn down any help, so that'll be fine.
Thank you very much.
I'd just like to ask you, because I want to bring that to you. Can I just look at our discipline manual or our discipline policy?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
Yeah. Give us all the input you can.
Not just address, but address it all.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
as a whole.
And the punishment should be harsher, I think. That'll be up to us.
If you can bring that back, then maybe we can set up something for that later on, sometime in the summer, before school starts back. We need that.
I agree.
That needs to be addressed before June, because I know we have something else coming up in May.
Right. Thank you.
I just want to make sure we're on, as far as the date, our next date is next Monday?
Next Monday.
Okay, at 6?
At 6? Is that a good time?
Tell me what time to be there.
Is that good for everybody?
Time.
That's right. Somebody ain't gonna be here. I'm going with him. Okay, 6 is good. Next Monday.
6.
I saw where the county council was exploring or looking at internet service for Marlboro County. And they were speaking of the fact that internet service is not that great in Marlboro County. I would like for us as a school board, as a school system, for us to initiate something that we can maybe work together with the county as far as internet service for us as well as them. Maybe we can, I'm just saying, find out some ideas from them, talk with them, whatever, but I think we need to work together on that, because I think that's a plus for all of us. If we can come together with the county and work that out and come up with some ideas, I just think that's a good idea, and I'd like to put that on the agenda for our next regular scheduled meeting, maybe get some information for us or whatever, talk with the county council, and see if we can put something together with them.
Sounds good. Okay, anyone else? Ms. Manville? Mr. Smith?
I'm good.
If nothing else,
Did we
I'm sorry?
skip policy development and implementation?
There's nothing.
Okay.
There's nothing there.
We're not gonna evaluate superintendent either tonight.
Not tonight. If there's nothing else, Mr. Coachman?
Reverend Smith, what you got for us tonight?
Offer your motion that we adjourn.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, let everybody know about it. Sign of raising your right hand. All opposers. We're adjourned. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you very much for supporting us and helping us, and we do appreciate everyone being here. Thank you.
Hello?
All right, now.